Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us this morning. I hope you are well. Today's weather has become lighter, so I know we're moving towards spring. The weather has become more mild. It's really nice to feel spring coming. It's also important for us to prepare our bodies and minds for spring, that in the wintertime we go more internally, contemplatively. We conserve our energy. We understand the slowing of our digestive system, of our mind. If we feel that during the winter, that's actually normal. It's the body, in a way, hibernating. So now, as spring comes, we can start to bring that out and uh, become a little more energized. And when we get to spring, then we can be able to exercise a little differently. Our outlook should change. So therefore, it's very important that we start to understand these natural cycles. Otherwise, we may misinterpret them as something negative. But in actuality, there's something restorative about them. So with that, let us, since we have this wonderful opportunity to practice meditation, let us take a moment to stretch ourselves. Towards this angle. The other side. Good. Then we're going to go in a circle, start with the left. Remember, just let the head sit like on a swivel using your body. It's actually a practice of relaxation as well, because most people keep lots of stiffness in protecting their neck. Here we just let it naturally hang with gravity and move with our body. Opposite way. This is really good because I can feel it in my neck, but also in my back. Excellent. Okay. Let us take our posture. Our posture must be stable, touching at least 3 points. Our backside, our knees. If on the floor, if you need to put cushions, sometimes if both of your knees don't touch the floor, you have to keep that stable. Most important is being stable. If you're sitting in a chair, come up to the front. You're just sitting on your backside just a little bit, so you can sit up straight and your feet are flat touching the ground. So with that, let us do 3 purifying breaths. These we bring in for the count of 3, 5, and 7. Okay. So let us breathe in through our nose. If you haven't challenged breathing through your nose, you can do small breaths too. So breathe in, hold, exhale. Breathe in, hold, exhale. Last one, breathe in, hold, exhale. When we're exhaling from every corner of our body, removing all the negative poison air out and breathing in pure, extra natural air. Then we prepare ourselves, as Master Tiantai says, as a stone anchor. I think one of the reasons he uses this visualization, this concept, metaphor, is that a stone anchor is very heavy at its base, but yet top part it can move with the movement of the waves, very slightly, not heavy, not big movements, but as we know, there are very slight adjustments that are happening. That when we're relaxed sitting, we can allow that to happen. You won't even notice them with your eyes, but the fact is we're not rigid, but we're maintaining this posture, because as we maintain this posture and will not do not move, it allows our body to quiet and allows our breath to quiet with our regulated breathing, our pranayama. And then we regulate our mind. Okay? We regulate our mind through one pointedness. So as we now close our eyes, put our hands in Hokai Join, tuck in our head, chin in, teeth gently closed, tongue above the roof of the mouth. We're going to begin breathing and exhaling through our nose. As we exhale, Nama Myoho Renge Kyo. Stop, breathe in, simply observe. Let us prepare ourselves as a stone anchor. The sound of the bell, let us begin our meditation and concentration onto the old Daimoku, the sacred title. Let us take a moment to release our concentration. Mindfully, let us take a scan of our body state, our breathing, and mind without judgment, just simply observing. Now let us bring attention back to our body, moving our fingers, our toes. Thank you very much for joining us today. Today we'll spend a little bit of time, again, back to our concepts that we keep revisiting. Last time we spoke about worldly desire as one of the 5 hindrances. Worldly desire being the pursuit of pleasures related to materialism, a materialist existence, and the desire to avoid the opposites, which means loss. Gain, loss, pleasure, pain, fame, obscurity, praise, blame. These are all aspects of the worldly desire. In meditation, the remedy, the opposing meditative factor, is how we unify our mind. A unified and blissful mind has no reason to chase worldly desires. Now, very essential that we understand this within context, because obviously, as Buddhists, we are not, passive in the idea of our lives. There are many successful Buddhists. As I'm going through my studies with Buddhist history, Buddhists were very much involved in trade, in business ventures. They were considered to be very trustworthy and reliable people. That is one aspect of Buddhism that is still existent in cultural Buddhism, but in the West, we think that releasing of materialism or responsibility or pursuit in life is what Buddhism is. However, it's essential to understand what your position is. You are not a monk, you are a householder. And a householder, there are certain responsibilities, because without the householder, there is no Sangha. Same as if there is no clergy, there is no Sangha. Both of these imperative components, and that actually in how one regulates. This is the same in Jainism. Jainism is a tradition in which all desire must be gone, must be removed. However, Jains are well known for managing people's money, being very trustworthy for investment, etc. That people in India, they become quite wealthy. But that as a household, they understand within this not to be attached. That means also how to use those resources to assist people, such as Buddhism. And then, as we see historically, I'm studying right now with Dr. Lewiston concerning maritime Buddhism, in which we see how Buddhism was brought by traders into all of the major ports in India and China and all over the world. And usually we think about that time as the inland aspect of the Silk Road. But in actuality, Buddhists invested that money, brought that money there, established temples, places of practice. So it's very important that Buddhism is not anti-success or anti-wealth, just the opposite. If you're a monk, that's quite different. But actually, as a householder, it is within your responsibility to be able to cultivate the proper mindset when dealing with these otherwise potentially negative things. That if you have the wrong mindset, anything, even a good thing, can be negative or dangerous. So therefore, the pursuit of those things is the idea of pursuit of, we have a certain nature that we fulfill, that we pursue studies, we pursue, accomplishments, but that we realize in our mindset, our core belief system, that we understand that these things will not bring happiness. That is the essential difference. Same with money. But it doesn't mean that money won't be able to support or help people, right? So therefore, Buddhism, in many ways, and this is where Zen Buddhism, especially in the West, um, really went after this very materialistic idea. But of course, the people who were practicing were of the upper middle class, in which they, of course, swore off being attached or how do you say, materialistic in any way, but yet they had lots of money and the opportunities and how do you say, benefits to sit and practice silent meditation. Whereas the householders practice, that is why the Lotus Sutra is more adaptable to the majority of people. Okay. Today we also talk about second one, which is aversion. Aversion is a negative mental state involving judgment, rejection, and denial. And these include, in some ways, hatred, anger, resentment, dissatisfaction, criticism, impatience, self-accusation, and boredom. The meditative quality that counteracts this poison is pleasure and happiness. There's a little room for negativity in the mind filled with bliss. So what this means is that through our faith, through our practice, we find this natural state, which is actually blissful, not in the idea of happiness or blissful idea that most people have, which is momentary, how do you say, excitement or momentary pleasure. Um, we look for this kind of bliss as they talk about it, this happiness in the practice, in the realization, in the awareness of the Buddha's teaching, which then contradicts or counteracts the poison of these five hindrances that, of course, are hindering our practice and study. So the first, remember today, worldly desire. I asked you to think about that. But it's important with that caveat that you understand as a householder, in fulfilling one's responsibilities, such as providing for family, providing for community, being able to be a supportive element. Sometimes that means leading. These are all aspects of Buddhism that a lot of times people, and this is a misunderstanding, become through their ignorance, through misunderstanding, they think that we're all monks and that is the most righteous path. But actually, the paths are equal according to the Buddha. That the householder is essential for the sangha. So therefore, Buddhists can be successful. Buddhists can be entrepreneurial, and how do you say, like more um, interest in the world. But yet we are not stuck in the world. We're not attached to the world. That's quite a different mindset. So with these two, this time until we meet on Monday, I'd like you to look at this aversion concept, and we'll go a little more into it. That this is the rejection. We reject things we don't like. We're in denial. These are symbolized by hatred. So if you feel yourself hating something or becoming angry, resentment, dissatisfaction, criticism. You know, one of the important things that we look in our life, especially when we become complainers, that actually we look around. If we have a true mindset, as we were talking about in this concept of faith and practice, we have nothing to complain about. It is what it is, and we can deal with it, and we will deal with it. And then with our practice and study, we will go beyond it in the idea that we can become more productive, supportive people in our communities and with our resources in our environment. Okay, that is the true mark of practicing Buddhism. So thank you very much for your time today. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again on Monday. Please take care.